New outrage tonight over remarks by a U.S. Army officer after the friendly fire death of Pat Tillman, covered up in Afghanistan. Pat Tillman's mother, Mary, says she is appalled that the officer suggested the family is not at peace with Tillman's death because of their lack of religious faith. One top lawmaker, Congressman Henry Waxman, said the officer should be punished. Jamie McIntyre reports now from the Pentagon.
It came as a shock to members of Congress probing the Pat Tillman death that one Army investigator was quoted making remarks that Tillman's family found highly insulting.
He said that we would never be satisfied because we're not Christians and we're just a pain in the ass, basically. He also said that it must make us feel terrible that Pat's worm dirt.
The offending comment was posted on ESPN.com last summer. It suggested the Tillman family's dissatisfaction with the Army was due in part to a lack of religious faith, and it quoted Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Kozlarek, who conducted the second investigation into Tillman's death.
Well, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in anything, if you die, what is there to go to? Nothing. You're worm dirt. So for their son to die for nothing, pretty hard to get your head around that.
Did you examine these comments as part of your investigation?
We did not investigate those comments. I saw the comments in the paper, and frankly, I was shocked by them too, but we didn't investigate.
Sir, I don't know of any regulation prohibiting that, but I find it totally unacceptable.
Is there anything such as a conduct unbecoming a member of the United States Armed Services?
There is such a charge as conduct unbecoming an officer, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that sounds like it's a pretty unbecoming statement for an officer to have made.
At Pat Tillman's memorial service in 2004, his younger brother acknowledged Tillman was not a religious man. But the Army would not say if he had ever declared himself an atheist.
And the Army also won't reveal the religious affiliation of Colonel Kozlarek, who is now a battalion commander in Iraq. CNN tried to reach him through the Army. He was not available because he's in the war zone. An Army spokesman says he doesn't currently face any disciplinary action for these remarks. However, he does come under sharp criticism from the DOD Inspector General for his lackluster investigation of the Tillman death back in 2004. Lou?
The Army is not distinguishing itself in this case, is it?
Well, a lot of people would share that view.
I would hope that the generals in that building from which you're reporting would share it. I find this absolutely, and I have to believe most Americans find this absolutely disgraceful. This represents neither the code of the United States military, the United States Army. What in the world is going on?
Well, this was a case where this lieutenant colonel, who, again, did the second investigation, was questioned by a reporter for ESPN.com and was asked, why isn't the Tillman family giving up? And he offered this idea that was perhaps they weren't at peace because they didn't believe in an afterlife. And that's what sparked this whole controversy. And obviously, you can see how that would be very insulting to somebody.
And for the United States Army, members of the United States Army, to lie about the death of Pat Tillman, serving his country at great sacrifice to himself, an example, a heroic example of duty to one's country, to have the United States Army lie about it, and then one of its officers, a colonel, to speak like that of a man killed in uniform. I would hope there is a sense of outrage within the Pentagon. Is there, Jamie?
Well, you know, I think everybody acknowledges that these remarks are at best insensitive and at worst, you know, very offensive. But the other thing is we have not been able to talk to Lieutenant Colonel Kozlarek.
Yeah.
We
no,
don't
I understand
know
that, Jamie. What I'm asking you, is there a sense of outrage within the Pentagon that you've been able to perceive?
Well, I think everyone...
Not just about his comments,
yeah,
but about this entire Tillman episode.
Well, the Army has, the people I've talked to have, you know, they've acknowledged from the very beginning that was mishandled. They've gone to great length to talk about how they're trying to do things differently. There is an acknowledgement that was terribly mishandled and a mistake, and the Army has put out formal statements saying that.
Jamie, thank you very much. Jamie McIntyre from the Pentagon.